Good morning. For those that don't know me, I'm Virginia Walton. I'm an executive coach, and I'm looking to help corporate and executive women prioritize their self-care so that they can continue to exceed in their roles without burning out. Prior to starting my coaching practice, I spent 24 years in the banking and finance industry, where I started as a teller at a small community bank and was a senior vice president of a $27 billion bank by the age of 38. About 10 years ago, I had my first exposure to leadership and executive coaching. And when I met with the coach who had my 360 results and heard the Cliff Notes version of my life, he goes, "This all makes sense, Virginia. And if you don't change, you're not going any further." That was pretty harsh to hear, but thankfully I embraced the process and took advantage of every coaching and training opportunity for development that my company offered, as well as developed a personal passion for reading leadership and self-development books. And that led me to get my coaching certification. So now I want to help others have even greater success and do it a little easier without running themselves down. So let's talk. What kind of Wonder Woman are you? So I grew up in the era of the awesome red boots, lasso, and those killer bracelets. So how are your days going? Are you lassoing it in and you got everything under control? Or are you fighting off everything coming at you between work and life and family demands? Or maybe you're just wondering, why am I doing this? How long can I do this? Odds are it's probably a mixture of all of those, right? We all have those days where you feel like you've got it under control, right? You get up with the alarm, you got time for a run or a workout. You know, everybody gets out of the house smoothly. Your commute is great. You've got time to get coffee and check your email before your first meeting. It's rocking. And you're like, I got this. And then the day progresses and start to wear, and all of a sudden, now there's one of those everyday crises that happens at work, and you're getting bombarded with messages and texts and IMs and emails from your superiors wondering what you're doing. Somebody on your team is on the verge of meltdown. Meanwhile, all you're thinking is, nobody's going to die. Why are we in panic? But you know you can't say that because everybody's acting like lives are on stake. So, meanwhile, in the midst of doing this and your normal stuff coming in at you, one of your children texts you. They forgot to tell you they have something after school that they need to get to. And now you're trying to find another parent that can get them there or get them home from it or whatever. And you're doing this all, in heels and with a smile. You get through the crisis. You got some of the other normal day-to-day stuff done. Now you're trying to head home. Traffic's a mess. Now you're getting reminded that somebody needs something for tomorrow at school, or maybe it's camp with this time of year. And, you got to go to run the PTO meeting, figure out dinner for your family. You get it all done. Kitchen's cleaned up. And you're like, I can relax. And your fitness alarm tracker goes off, says, time for bed. I'm like, well, there's tomorrow. And as you crawl into bed and pull the covers up and get comfy, your to-do list starts running through your day. So now you're wondering, how am I going to get it all done? You're wondering, how long can I keep this up? Because tomorrow's going to go just the way today did. It always happens. Well, let me tell you, you can't keep that pace. You can't keep doing it. Certainly not till retirement. Unless you're counting retirement in terms of days. And I mean days. Months, weeks, years. It's not sustainable. You will not be able to continue to do it. No matter how awesome you are. And I know you are. Trust me. Not only have I been there, but I've seen others. You hit the wall, right? I seriously, at one point, I thought I was doing great. And I was working hard. I was meeting my deadlines. I didn't care how late I was in the office. I was crushing it. I was probably nagging and dragging people along the way, but we were getting it done. My boss seemed happy with me. I knew when he wasn't. I would course correct. I told my team, do not work the way I do. I cared about them, and I knew this wasn't right. And I insisted they make themselves a priority when needed. But I wasn't practicing what I preached. I literally would sit at my desk. And we were in an open environment, so I didn't have a door. Thinking, God, at some point, is somebody going to walk in and go, why is Virginia in the same outfit she wore yesterday? And it wouldn't be because I pulled an all-nighter, because I dropped dead at my desk. Yeah. That was one of the fears that ran across my mind. That I would work myself to death and I'd be found at my desk in yesterday's clothes. And then when I died, the eulogy would reference something like, we lost a great risk manager. Nobody wrote a risking. After a merger, the fourth one I went through in my career there, I got displaced. Not out of a job, but moved and shuffled. And I was angry. But you know what? I had worked hard, and at the end of the day, I lost a political move. And it was the best thing that could happen to me, because I realized I couldn't keep up that pace. Not and perform. So I'm grateful. A power higher than me intervened. So before you have to go through that, I'm here to help you not hit that wall. Stop thinking, how long can I keep doing this? Not coming home with those beautiful gold bracelets scratched to hell because of how much was flying at you, and you're just trying to dodge and weave. And you're like, yeah, Virginia, I get that. We talk about balance, and I tell my team all the time to take their personal time off and turn off the app on their phone for their work email and don't check in. But I live in the real world. I can take the time off. That's fine. I'm allotted it. But guess what? It just builds up. So it's even worse when I come back. Yep. Been there, done that. I started picking my vacation spots because they restricted your device access. Seriously. I went to the same resort because you were only allowed to use your wireless device in 3 places. Your room, a parking lot, and 1 courtyard. Now I'm a rule follower. I was in risk management, all the rules. And this way I could tell my boss and my other superiors and my peers, I'm sorry, I can't check in. They don't allow it. And they knew me well enough to know, oh, she's going to follow the rules. Meanwhile, I told my team, if you need me, text me. I may not respond immediately, but I'll get back to you. Thankfully, my team respected me, and they never did. But sad, right? I didn't pick my vacation spot because of where it would go or what I could do. I went there because they made me turn off my phone. So I would kill myself before I left to get my inbox from, the typical 70 down to like 2. Yeah, that's healthy. Trust me. If this all resonates and sounds familiar, there's light on the other side. I'm here to help you. So the first thing is recognize it. The second thing, let me tell you a little secret. All that work that sits there, it's always going to be there. There's always going to be more. The reward for getting a job well done, more work. And at the end of the day, it's a business. While yes, you're an asset, you bring great value, you're also an expense. Yeah. They can replace you. Somebody else did the job before you. Or they'll shuffle the work. Eliminate the role. We've seen it. It's just part of life in corporate America. So remember, if the good business decision was to make you not in that role, it would be hard, I'm sure. A good leader and manager, it would pain them. I had to let people go because of economics, not because of them. And it sucked. But you got to do what you got to do. So when you remember that somebody else will do what they got to do, put yourself first. Set the expectations. And no, I'm not saying tell your boss, I'm leaving at 5 o'clock. I've got to get to my kid's soccer game. I've got to get home. I'm committing to self-care. No. Set the expectations with you. Sit down. Look at what's coming on you. Look at your sources of pressure. How much is it coming from you? You want to do a good job. Yes, of course. I'm not saying half-ass your work. But how often are you putting pressure on yourself, thinking, I have to respond immediately? So yeah, you left to get to that game, but you missed your kid's goal because you were like this. Set the expectations with you. No. This amount of work can wait. Prioritize. Not everything needs to be done yesterday. Not every meeting needs your attention. Ask, when you get a meeting invite that you're like, what is this about? Why are you needing me? What is your expectation of me? Oh, do you know how many times you'll find out you don't need a meeting? They didn't even need you. Maybe someone on your team can go and just go listen in. We just need awareness. I just need you to sit there. Gives them opportunity, frees up time for you. Set the expectations of balancing and boundaries with yourself. You are your hardest critic. You are your greatest source of pressure. The first change is within you. I'm sure you have a demanding boss. I had one. I get that. I've had a few. But there was part of me that was taking that and notching it up. Like, wait a minute. And that same demanding boss who would text me at 8 o'clock at night or on a Saturday or the time I was out because I had to have a minor surgical procedure, he called me that afternoon. And of course, I saw the boss's name. I answered the phone. Mistake 1. Mistake 2, I opened up my email. And I started checking them until I saw something from a peer that annoyed me. And I said, you know what? I'm dopey on anesthesia still and feel like crap. I'm going to go back to bed. This can wait. And it did. It did. So no, I'm not saying you got to be firm on timelines and that you're never going to have a stressful day. But stop. You put pressure on yourself to excel and exceed. I get that. High achiever. Type A personality. Raise your hand. Put pressure on yourself to take care of yourself. To be realistic. Not everything is a fire drill. Not everything needs to be done right now. You know what? Maybe it's really important to you that the kitchen is clean when you go to bed. I get that. So that when you get up, you're starting with a clean slate. But it's okay if the laundry's in the dryer because you don't see that. Maybe you're the opposite. No, I don't care if the kitchen's a mess because it's always a disaster and I can't keep up. But I don't want all the stuff sitting in the dryer and wrinkling. Okay. Pick which is your greatest pain point. Where are you going to put the pressure on yourself? It doesn't have to be all. Remember, even superheroes need a break. Clark Kent wasn't always walking around with that big S on his chest. Batman had his cave for a reason. You can do great things, and you can do them without burning yourself out. Because what happens if you don't stop and get off this roller coaster of this constant going, I can do everything for everybody and I don't take care of myself? You're not giving your best because you're not at your best. So at some point, something's going to drop and you're going to feel even worse. The question is, what is it? Don't get to the point where you've got to quit your job, your commitment to coach your kids or to the PTO or to another cause that's really important because you're like, I got nothing. Don't go to the point where your body finally says, we're done. We're shutting down. Yeah, I had that. Where literally I'd sleep for like 14 hours because I just ran and ran and ran and my body said, done. So hopefully this was helpful. And if as you're thinking about this, you're like, that makes sense, Virginia. And I want to do that. I want to see, but I don't know how to start. That's where I'm here to help. I get it. It's not easy. It takes work. But we can do this together. And you will continue to meet all your... You will be lassoing every day in those rocking boots. I don't think I'm tall enough for them. But seriously, if you're ready to say, I get it. I can't keep doing this. Let's connect. Drop me a comment, an email, a text. I'm here to help. I want you to get off this path sooner than I did. And maybe you've already mastered that. Kudos. But maybe your friends haven't. So remember, while this may not be what you needed to hear today, somebody else may need to. So please feel free to share. We're all in this together. So check out my website, virginiawalton.com. You can drop me your information. Leave me a comment here on this video. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook. Wherever your choice is, I'm here to help. Be well and have a wonderful day.